Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing my March wrap up. So today I'm going to be talking about how I failed my TBR. So last month, Marcus chose 8 books for me to read. I was to read 6 of them. I only managed to read 5 of them, so I didn't even quite get to the 6 books I was supposed to. That being said, it was a very good reading month, and it usually is whenever he chooses my TBRs. I usually have a great time reading all the books that month. And yeah, I did. It's very consistent, but yeah. He knows my reading tastes, so whenever he chooses books for me, I usually really enjoy them. Also, today is Uno's birthday, so Marcus got him a gift for his birthday that is pretty awesome. Like if I was a cat and I got this gift for my birthday, I'd be living like my best life. So I'm gonna insert a clip here so you guys can see Uno enjoying his new birthday present. So today is Uno's birthday, and so we got him this new cat tree. When I say we, Marcus did all the research, everything. Like he got this, and then I found out about it when it arrived yesterday. But this is his new thing that he is going to be loving. He currently sits in the little, like, what's it called? I keep calling it a basket, but it's, oh, hammock. He sits in the little hammock part most of the time. But here he is, loving life. Little birthday boy. And yeah, ever since it's been set up since yesterday, he has just been in it non-stop. So it's fun. The thing also has a little ball with like a little bell, and he's been playing around with that. We've been hearing him, so we're really happy that he enjoys his birthday present. Okay, back to the wrap up. I also am very excited to get a haircut this weekend because my hair is getting super long and it's like, oh, it's driving me insane, guys. So like, I'm looking forward to getting that all chopped off. Who knows? Maybe in my next video, this will all be gone and it'll be short again. So we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna jump into the wrap up. The first book that I started with in the month of March was Iron Heart, and so this is the second book following Crier's War. This is the final book in this duology, and before I even get into it, I love these covers. When I originally read Crier's War, I had an advanced reader's copy that didn't even have the cover finished on it yet, so it was just like a white cover with the title. And Marcus knew that I really liked the book, so he bought me, well, he got me this one too, but he bought me like the finished version of the first one. So I have this duology in like these beautiful sparkly covers. Not sparkly, shiny, but I really love them. So this series is essentially, I like to say it's like a good blend of fantasy and sci-fi because it deals with these beings called the Autome, which are kind of like robots, but they survive off of this essence that's like mined from like different mineral deposit areas around this like fictional world, and that is like put into them to give them life. It's like their sustenance, so they survive. So it's also set in kind of like a medieval times. So there's like castles and people are like riding steeds and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. And I fell into this world and adored it from the first book. So jumping right back into this one, well, not right back, it's been a while since I've read the first one, but jumping back into this world, I just loved it again. Now, this time, this one I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. The first one I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And I honestly think that it might just be because it's sequel syndrome. So, like, the first book was just all fresh and new and exciting. And it was really good to jump back into that world and, like, fun for me. But I feel like the first one had this, like, magic to it. This one still had that magic to it, but just because it's, like, not the first part of it, that it wasn't as exciting to me. I also enjoyed like the way the story went. I didn't really have any problems with this book. Like I thought it was a great time and it concluded a lot of things that were left kind of like undecided in the first book. So I did enjoy that as well. But yeah, honestly, I feel like the only reason the star rating is a little lower is because it's sequel syndrome. Because there was like I knew what I was getting into going into this, so I was excited for it. but there was nothing really that like gave me like that extra excitement that would have added that star onto it. I hope that makes sense. I feel like a lot of people felt like similar to this when I looked at Goodreads reviews on Goodreads. Everybody kind of like rated around the same thing. So yeah, but that's definitely like how I felt. And that's why I looked at the reviews, because I was curious to see if other people felt the same way, and a lot of them did. So yeah. Overall though, it's a great duology. Like I think you guys would really enjoy this series, and I would strongly recommend them. They're so much fun, and yeah, there's lots of different relationships in this book, things that deal with like friendship, with love, with betrayal. Oh, there's just so many cool things that happened, and I really enjoyed this series. So yeah, definitely check this out if you get a chance. The next book I read was the first book in the Inheritance trilogy, and this is the first book is called The 100,000 Kingdoms, I believe. I literally just looked at it and my mind is already going blank. I have a goldfish memory. Um, but this one, what did I give it? I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 as well. This one was a lot of fun. Like I didn't really know what to expect with going into the series. Um, Mainly because I didn't really know too much about it, but I know that Marcus really likes this trilogy. He likes this more than the other series that's more popular by this author. The fifth, I think it's Fifth Element series or something like that. Um, yeah, so he likes this series more than that, and I can understand why. Like I had a great time with this series. So this one, it was kind of interesting because it's following a main character who goes to this like kingdom to visit somebody. I think it's like one of her relatives, and then she gets told that she is going to be taking part in like these, not games. It's more like taking part in these like politics to become like the next, not even leader. I don't even know. I don't even know what the terminology is. This always happens to me when I start talking about a book after I've read it and it's like been a while since I've read it. I'm just like forgetting everything. But anyways, it's like her and then two other of her, I think they're her cousins. There's a lot of different people related in this series. Like there's a lot of relations and like family trees that it goes over, so it's kind of hard to like keep track of all of that. But yeah, and so they're all like not even competing. Like I don't even know how to explain it. They're trying to, I guess, gain favor to become the next important person in this like ritual thing. But also at this place that she's at, there are gods living among them as well. And these gods, it's kind of interesting because usually when you're thinking of gods, you're thinking of like all powerful beings. And these are very powerful beings, but they're kind of treated like workers, or I guess like slaves to the people that own this kingdom. And so it's interesting seeing like the gods not be in full power and having to like adjust to not being in full power, knowing that they have all this power but they can't use it against these people. And so it's a very interesting concept, and it was cool to see like gods not portrayed as the all powerful beings, but also being like very dangerous and crafty. And yeah. And there was a bunch of different ones too with like different powers and stuff like that. So it was really cool to like see all of that. And yeah, the way this book ended, like I'm definitely looking forward to reading the next one because it was a pretty big ending, and there was a lot of build up to it that led there. And I think the build up was done really well too. Like I think it was a very well crafted book, and so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing like where they go in this series. The next book I read is probably tied for my favorites of the month, and this was The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This book, sorry, I'm like covering up the little dude on the cover with my fingers that's like facing off against this giant dragon. So I didn't really know too much about this book, but Marcus put it on my TBR because he thought that I would really enjoy it. And boy, was he right. This was such a good book. 5 out of 5 stars. Fantastic. And yeah, my mind was blown. So this is following the perspective of three different characters. One of them is named Orca, one of them is named Elvar, and one of them is named Varg. And so it was really fun to follow like these different storylines because they're all very like unique characters, and they have different like quirks about them that you just really like. Orca is like the most badass mother I have ever read about in a book. Like complete badass. She was so cool. And I was just rooting for her from like start to finish. Huh. Orca's my girl. And then Elvar was like an interesting character to follow along with because she had other parts to her backstory that like were slowly revealed as it went on. I guess there were like definitely slow like parts that were slowly revealed for each character as they went on, which was done really well. And another thing that Marcus had noted to me is that the fight scenes in this book are very, very well done. Like you can picture them perfectly in your mind. And I have to agree with him. Like the fight scenes were really cool, and it felt like a movie playing in my head when these were going on. Because I find that sometimes in books the fight scenes are not easy to understand because so many things are happening at once. But this one kind of like broke it down for you so that the fight scenes were very easy to piece together. And so that was really cool. I also just liked learning about like the lore of the land and like the different like areas and different cultures that were in this book. Like it was just really cool. It was a really fun book, and I'm really looking forward to the next one because the last line of this book was huge. Okay, it was huge. I was just like shooketh when I read that. So yeah. Oh yeah, I guess. And then Varg is the other perspective. He was very intriguing from the very beginning because his storyline starts off with like him trying to escape from other people. And so you're like, okay, this is already like pulled me in. Like, what's going on with this guy? What is his backstory? Like, I need to know how he got to where he is right now and what's going to happen with him moving forward. And yeah, oh, it was so good. I will also say that this series is kind of similar to like Game of Thrones. I always refer to like a Game of Thrones book. I haven't even read any of the Game of Thrones books, but I've watched the show. And by that I mean like don't get too attached to characters because you never know like who's gonna get killed in this book series. Um yeah. It's brutal. It's very brutal. But it also like gives you that deep appreciation for it at the same time because you grow to love these characters so much, and then all of a sudden they're just gone. And it's like the fact that you grew so attached to those characters is a testament to the author's writing. It's like top notch. I would love to read other books by this author. This is my first book that I've read by John Gwynne, but like after reading this, I definitely want to read more. The next book I read was Soulsmith, and that was on my Kindle. So this was the second book. I guess I can put my Kindle down. I'm showing you as my Kindle now. I'll put the picture here so you see. So Soulsmith is the second book in the Cradle series. And so this is another series that Marcus wanted me to read. He actually got me to download the first 3 on my Kindle because I think they were like free at that time. So I did, and he's like, if you don't like it after the first 3 books, then you probably won't enjoy this series. But if you start to like it by the 3rd book, then you will enjoy it. And right now, like I did enjoy the first book. I think I gave the first book a 3 out of 5 stars. The second book, which I just read, I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So it did go up half star in ratings for me. And that is because in this second book, you're kind of diving into more of the side characters. And I personally like the side characters more than the main character, although the main character is starting to grow on me a little bit more in this second book. But his companions are just much more intriguing to me, so I'm more like invested in their storylines. But yeah, this book, the pace of this one definitely started going a bit faster. I found in the first one it was a little bit slow to begin, and it picked up near like the end of the first one. The pace in this one was pretty consistent all the way through, where it was pretty fast paced, which is something I do enjoy in books. And so that definitely helped with the rating. And also there were more things revealed about like this world that they're in that also kind of like got me a little bit more intrigued. So I'm excited to see where it goes in the 3rd book. That's going to be like the make or break one if I continue the series or not. I think if the 3rd one is good, then I will continue. So we will see. This one's more of like a cultivation novel with, it really reminds me of like gaming lit, which I don't even know if I've really read like a proper gaming lit book, but it reminds me of that in the sense of like there's different people that are trying to ascend to like higher levels. So in this one, I think it goes like wood, copper, iron, gold, Jade, and then like you keep going up after that. I can't remember which ones go higher than Jade, but it's like one of those ones where you have to do certain things to level up and become more powerful. So in that sense, it's kind of like a game, like leveling up. And so it's pretty interesting. Like I definitely am excited to see like how the different levels of ascension differ from each other, and that's definitely like intriguing part of the book. There's also another part that's kind of like an overlaying part to the whole book series that I'm also interested in, because little bits of it get revealed with each one as we go. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with that in the third book. But yeah. And then the last book that I read was All of Us Villains, and this is a book that Marcus's mom actually got me for Christmas. And this was another 5 out of 5 stars. So I had 2 5 stars this month. This book was awesome. Also, look at Under the Dust Jacket. Oh, look how cool that is. Pretty sweet, huh? Yeah, so this book was top-notch, fantastic. It was like, I think I really liked it because it's kind of like the Death Games trope for this one. So essentially, there's 7 different families that live in this village of Ilvernath. And what happens is every like blood veil is what it's called. There is a tournament to see which one of the, it's kind of like a curse on the village. So this tournament happens and each family has to put one champion forward, and the only way that the blood veil ends after, I think it's like 3 months, and the remaining champion, their family gets to control the high magic in Ilvernath until the next blood veil. So they're all competing to be the champion for their family so that they can control the magic. And high magic is like a very big thing. It's really important. So this one was interesting because you're following a lot of perspectives of different characters or different champions in this tournament. And it's hard because like you don't want to get attached to certain characters because like you know that they're all trying to murder each other. So you're like, oh, who do I root for? And like I found myself rooting for multiple characters. There was something about each one that like I really enjoyed. I definitely like some more than others, but yeah, it's hard to like not get invested because you really want them to win, but you like actually like a lot of them. So it's like it's hard because you don't want them to kill each other. It's a hard situation. It was also really cool because like the way this one is done is it's not exactly like a straight. It's not like Hunger Games where you're beating each other with weapons. It's they're using magic. So all of their things are held in rings. So they have like spells with rings on their hands, and those spells they need to like charge those spells to use them each time. So they have to be careful and strategic with which spells they use, because if they use one and it doesn't work, like they need time to recharge it to be able to use it again. So they have different like strategies that they're using in this battle. And also during the blood veil, these things called relics will fall down from the sky, and they are kind of like extra strong items that will help them during the tournament. So it's kind of similar to the Hunger Games where it's like the cornucopia where all the weapons are, but like when a relic falls, like everybody kind of goes to it to try and get it before the other ones so that they have like a power advantage. And yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed reading this book, and my goodness, the ending of this one left me wanting to pick up the next one immediately. The next one's not even out yet. Like I don't even know what I'm going to do. I have to wait for the next book to come out. Oh my god. So yeah, this one was really good. I can't wait to read the next one. I was so invested, and I need to know what happens with some of my characters because I need to know. But good book. It was a very good book. And those are all the books that I read in March. Overall, it was a really good reading month, and I'm very excited about the books I read. And now I'm excited to jump into the books for April because I'm doing the Magical Readathon Aurelium. So I'm excited for that. I've already done one of my prompts. It's only April 3rd, and I'm already done one. To be fair, it was a graphic novel, so it's not like it was that hard or anything. But boy, do I have some thoughts on that graphic novel too. So April wrap up is going to be intense. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought. If you have read any of these books that I just talked about, definitely tell me in the comments down below, because I would love to hear your thoughts on them, because these were good books, and like I want to know how other people thought about them. I'm just really curious to see if we had similar feelings about them, so definitely tell me in the comments down below. If you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as linked by my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Mondays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.